deadly cargo. As the container ship chugged its way across the ocean, a woman named Sarah sat nervously in her hiding spot, deep in the bowels of the vessel. She had stowed away on the ship, hoping to gain passage to the east coast of the US. But her plans went awry when a group of ruthless criminals took over the vessel, revealing their true intention: to transport a nuclear weapon to the east coast, where they planned to detonate it upon arrival. Sarah's friend, a crewmate on the ship, had helped her hide, but now he was being held captive along with the rest of the crew. Sarah knew she had to act fast if she wanted to save them and stop the criminals from carrying out their deadly plan. Sarah's first step in her mission was to gather information about the criminals and their plans. She knew that in order to stop them, she needed to know as much as possible about their operation. To do this, she began listening in on their conversations, trying to pick up any useful information. Sarah was able to gather information by sneaking around the ship and hiding in places where the criminals would not suspect. She would often hide behind crates or in the shadows, making sure to stay out of sight and keep quiet. She was also able to overhear their conversations by listening through the walls of the ship. One day, Sarah overheard a conversation between the leader of the gang, a man named Jack, and his henchman. Jack was boasting about how they had the perfect plan and that nothing could go wrong. Sarah listened carefully, as he detailed their plan to transport the nuclear weapon to the east coast and detonate it when they arrived. As she listened, Sarah knew that she had to take out Jack if she wanted to stop the gang's plan. She knew that as long as he was in charge, the criminals would continue with their deadly mission. She made a mental note of Jack's movements and habits, so she could plan her attack. With this new information, Sarah felt more confident in her mission. She knew that taking out Jack would be her key to stopping the criminals and saving the crewmates. She was determined to take him out and put an end to their dangerous plan. Using her stealth and cunning, Sarah began her mission to take out the criminals one by one. She knew that the first step in her plan was to take out the guards posted at the entrance to the engine room, where the crewmates were being held. With the guards neutralized, she would be able to free the crewmates and take control of the ship. Sarah started by studying the guards' patterns and routines. She noticed that the first guard, a tall man with a shaved head, was often careless and would often let his guard down. She knew that this would be her opportunity to take him out. One night, when the guard was on duty, Sarah crept up behind him, staying as quiet as possible. The guard never saw her coming and she was able to knock him out with a swift blow to the head. The guard fell to the ground unconscious. The second guard, a shorter man with a mustache, was more alert than the first. He noticed Sarah approaching and immediately reached for his weapon. Sarah knew that she had to act fast, so she quickly disarmed him, and took him out with a chokehold. The guard fell to the ground, unconscious. With the guards neutralized, Sarah was able to enter the engine room and free the crewmates. She slowly opened the door and peered inside, her heart pounding with anticipation. She saw the crewmates huddled in the corner, their faces etched with fear and exhaustion. Sarah quickly made her way to the crewmates and reassured them that they were safe now. They looked up at her with relief and gratitude in their eyes. One of the crewmates, Sarah's friend, Tom, rushed to her and hugged her tightly. "Sarah, I can't believe you're here. We thought we were done for," Tom said. Sarah hugged him back, tears streaming down her face. She had been worried sick about him, and the rest of the crewmates, and now she was relieved to see that they were all safe. Sarah helped the crewmates to their feet and explained the situation to them. She told them about the criminals' plan to transport the nuclear weapon to the east coast and detonate it when they arrived. She also explained that she had taken out the guards and secured the engine room, but that there were still more criminals on board the ship. The crewmates were shocked and horrified by the news. They had had no idea what the criminals were planning and had been kept in the dark about the situation. But Sarah's presence gave them hope, and they were ready to help her in any way they could. With the crewmates' help, Sarah took control of the ship and set a new course, steering it away from the east coast and towards a nearby naval base. She knew that the Navy SEALs would be able to take care of the remaining criminals and secure the ship. Sarah and her friend Tom were ready to take on the next challenge together, and they were determined to stop the criminals and save the day. With the engine room secured, Sarah was able to progress on her mission of neutralizing the whole gang. She had successfully taken out the first 2 guards, and now she was ready to take on the next challenge. With the guards neutralized, Sarah made her way to the bridge, where the ship was being steered. Jack, the leader of the gang, was there along with 2 of his henchmen. Sarah knew that taking out Jack was crucial in order to stop the criminals' plan, and she was determined to accomplish her goal. Sarah and the freed crewmates came up with a plan to take out Jack and his henchmen. They decided to use a mix of distraction, misdirection, and surprise in order to overcome them. The crewmates would create a diversion while Sarah would sneak in and take out the henchmen. Sarah and the crewmates put their plan into action. The crewmates created a loud commotion outside the bridge, drawing the attention of the henchmen. Meanwhile, Sarah sneaked into the bridge and approached the henchmen from behind. One of the henchmen noticed her and shouted a warning to Jack, but Sarah was able to quickly disarm them and take them out with her combat skills. As Sarah and the crewmates were making their way to the bridge, Tom, Sarah's friend, was tasked with taking on one of the henchmen. The henchman was a large, muscular man with a shaved head and a scar running down his cheek. He was armed with a knife and looked ready for a fight. Tom knew that he had to be careful. He was not as skilled as Sarah, but he was determined to help her in any way he could. As the henchman approached, Tom feinted to the left and then quickly kicked him in the stomach. The henchman stumbled back, but quickly recovered and swung his knife at Tom. Tom managed to dodge the blade and landed a punch on the henchman's face. The henchman was furious. He lunged at Tom with the knife. Tom tried to dodge it, but the henchman was too quick and managed to stab Tom in the stomach. Tom fell to the ground, and the henchman stood over him, ready to deliver the final blow. But Sarah arrived just in time and managed to neutralize the henchman before he could finish Tom off. Tom was gravely injured. Sarah tried to help him, but she knew it was too late. Tom's wounds were too severe. He looked at Sarah with a smile, and said, "I'm glad I could help you, Sarah. I'm proud of you." Sarah was in tears, and held Tom's hand tightly, not wanting to let go. She knew that he was dying, and there was nothing she could do to save him. "Don't leave me, Tom, please," Sarah pleaded, but Tom's eyes closed and he took his last breath. Sarah was devastated. She had lost a dear friend and a crewmate. She couldn't imagine going on without him. The rest of the crewmates were shocked and saddened by the loss of Tom. They knew that they had to continue with the mission, but they couldn't shake off the feeling of loss and sadness. They knew that Tom had given his life for the mission and for them, and they would never forget his sacrifice. Sarah took a moment to mourn her friend, but she knew that she had to be strong for the rest of the crewmates and for the mission. She stood up and looked at the rest of the crewmates. "We have to finish this, for Tom. We have to stop the criminals and save the day," she said with determination. With heavy hearts, but with Tom's sacrifice in mind, the crewmates and Sarah stormed the bridge and put an end to the criminals' plan. Jack, the leader of the gang, was the most formidable opponent that Sarah had faced so far. He was a skilled fighter and had experience in hand-to-hand combat. He was also a quick thinker and had a weapon at his disposal. Sarah knew that taking him out was crucial to stopping the criminals' plan, but she also knew it wouldn't be an easy task. As Sarah entered the bridge, Jack was ready for her. He had a gun in his hand and a smirk on his face. He knew that Sarah was a skilled fighter, but he was confident that he would be able to take her out. Sarah and Jack engaged in a fierce gunfight. Sarah was quick on her feet. She managed to dodge Jack's shots and used the console as cover. Jack was also quick. He was able to move around the bridge and use the equipment as cover too. The two exchanged shots, but neither could get the upper hand. Sarah knew that she had to take the fight to him. She couldn't keep playing defense. She used her combat skills and managed to disarm Jack and take away his gun. Jack was surprised by her move. He didn't expect her to be that skilled. "You are not the only one with combat skills," Jack shouted Sarah. But Jack was not one to give up easily. He was quick on his feet and tried to take Sarah out with a well-placed kick to the chest. But Sarah was able to outmaneuver him, disarm him and take him out with her own well-placed kick to the chest. Jack fell to the ground, unconscious. Sarah had accomplished her goal and took out the leader of the gang. With Jack and his henchmen neutralized, Sarah and the crewmates were able to take control of the ship. They set a new course, steering it away from the east coast and towards a nearby naval base. They knew that the Navy SEALs would be able to take care of the remaining criminals and secure the ship. Sarah and the crewmates had successfully accomplished their goal, and the ship was safe once again. Thanks to Sarah's bravery and quick thinking, the nuclear weapon had been thwarted, the crewmates were safe, and the criminals were in custody. She had proven herself to be a true hero, and her name would be remembered for years to come.